Alrighty. Let's see how this goes. Okay, the camera's at a bit of a weird angle, but I think we'll roll with it for now, just for today. Okay. Um, Alice in Chains, their EP Jar of Flies. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if you don't know who Alice in Chains is, they're sort of a metal grunge band from the 90s around the same time as Nirvana and Pearl Jam and Soundgarden were all coming up. Possibly, arguably the best grunge band from that period. I see a lot of people in contention between. Possibly the best grunge band from that period, as people might contest. Like with whether it's Nirvana or Alice in Chains. You know, obviously you have the whole debate of it, who's personal favourites, but the one I see coming up the most is Alice in Chains over Nirvana. And you can see why. With focus on Lane Staley's vocals on the tracks that they produce, and Jerry Cantrell and the lyrics and the guitar, and the rest of the band, who honestly I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't know them that too well. It's better when it's just a three-piece in terms of remembering members, but everybody in the band, phenomenal. But I think the shining, the standout is, Jerry's guitar work combined with Lane's vocals and their harmonizing, and the lyrics. It's all very leaves a strong impression in the listener. So, that was a brief background on Alice in Chains. So if you don't know who they are, find out who they are. Go listen to them. I think you could argue there's not a bad Alice in Chains album. They're all good. Even the ones in the later years after Lane Staley's passing in 2002, the band still produced a few more records after that, and I think it just shows the impact and the weight that Jerry Cantrell had behind the band too. It's really once in a sort of, I guess you could say, with Nirvana and Dave's drumming and Kurt's writing and singing, and you go, one member alone would be enough to make the band extraordinary, but having those two superpowers there just really propels it into another area. So you need to check out Alice in Chains if you don't know who they are. Listen to any album. Technically, this is an EP, but in my mind, it's as good as any album that they've ever produced. So let's get into it. So, 1994, they drop Jar of Flies. I believe it was 1994. Let's see if it says, 1994. And it's not, a full-length album technically. I don't know what the rules between an EP and an album are sometimes, but man, this album, just in terms of vibe, I think if you ever feel sad or low, depressed, any down and negative emotion, this album is exactly how I feel. Like, this album captures feeling great. This album is a feeling. If you feel mellow, maybe a bit melancholy, a bit, like I said, depressed, or upset or lonely, isolated, this is the album that can soundtrack that perfectly. Whenever I'm having a tough time, just before actually, today you might see my hair is a bit messed up, and it's because I was laying in my bed in the dark with listening to this album, because last couple of weeks have been kind of a bit, and sometimes I just want to, know that something out there knows how I feel, and I feel like this album definitely does that. Maybe more knows more how I feel than even I do, because I think this album speaks on themes of isolation, drug abuse, loneliness, feelings of anxiety and unworthiness of people and to yourself, and how that can feel when you're not, you don't feel like you're being the best person you can for those around you and those you want to be, and dealing with fame and stardom and life. And I think that's looking into the lyrics of it, but I think you can even just from the sound, acoustic, sonically, tell it brings out this emotion. Nor is great with my lyrics, but the feeling of the sound, I can really, you feel it in here, like to your core. So let's talk about the tracks a little bit. We got Rotten Apple, great track, one of the best tracks on the album. I'm not too sure what it's about. I should have maybe looked into the lyrics a bit more, but I want to keep this short, keep this brief like the album. Sweet, sharp, brief. But, oh, excuse me. Rotten Apple. What a great way to start it. I couldn't, the unique sound on the guitar, the production. I don't even know sometimes what these sounds are, but they just unearthly. They almost sound alien in a way. And you know, it starts off a bit instrumental, and then Lane will come in with his vocals, and Jerry and him will sing together a bit, and then end on a bit of instrumental, and you're like, you feel like you just tripped through some meditative experience for a bit. Then the song on the EP I would say is Nutshell. Holy crap, does this song sound fucking amazing. If you haven't, if there's one takeaway this, you don't listen to Alice in Chains, you don't listen to any other music from them, I say at least go listen to Nutshell. It's at least 4 minutes. Please, 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 please go listen to Nutshell. It's extraordinary. I would say that this does contrast some of the sound of their other albums, but I do like that about Alice in Chains. You get a bit of a different thing every time. It's always something new, something fresh. They try things, but while still maintaining that Alice in Chains sort of feel. But Nutshell, just a sad, depressing song about being alone and isolated due to your fame, I think, and what people want from you, and struggling with, you know, maybe your drug problems and expectations from others. It's really, I think it's sort of like a glimpse into, I guess you could say, maybe in a nutshell, what it was like, maybe having to be a celebrity at that time, or in Lane's position at least. And I think, you know, even though I may not be a heroin addict who's having to deal with a state of fame and stardom and being harassed by people, and, you know, having to figure out how to still maintain my sense of sanity in it all. You know, when I feel alone and feel like the world wants things from me, and other people want things from me that I can't provide or don't want to provide, I think Nutshell, in that way, really speaks to that notion. So it's a great song with a great sound and a great meaning. So, Nutshell. Then the last two tracks on the side of the album are I Stay Away and No Excuses. I think I Stay Away is, you know, mostly, you know, these are very, very interesting sounding songs, and some of them, sometimes it's like, it feels like songs within songs with the parts of how they're made up, and you kind of definitely go on this sonic journey through them, and you're like, wow, this is a great song, and you're like, oh my god, this is still the same song. And it hasn't even been that long. It's not like these are extraordinary long tracks, it's just, it takes you places in your mind over the course of the song, with the change in the guitar sounds and the vocals and the bridges, and really is like a journey through a story. So I Stay Away, I think, is, you know, is about, you know, maybe keeping yourself distant from people when you're not quite sure of how to properly, you know, be around people. And, you know, sometimes we push ourselves away from those that we love because we don't want to hurt them, but we just end up hurting them more than we intend to, in ourselves in the process. And side two of this starts with Whale and Wasp. Purely instrumental, but honestly, you get this feeling, I don't know if it is about a whale and a wasp talking, or you get these two contrasting sounds, I think, one being the whale, one being the wasp, and it's like these are having a conversation back and forth. And, you know, you can maybe project some meaning onto it. You know, maybe come up with your own interpretation. I don't want to really tell you what this song is about, nor could I. You know, even though it has no lyrics, so probably perfect song for me, but it really feels like two things having a conversation, and it's beautiful and haunting and just just amazing. playing by the band here. They really get to shine. It's a great sort of break in the album as we move into the last two tracks. Don't Follow, I think, sort of like in the same vein as I Stay Away, is like about a person who's, you know, going down a path, and it's not the greatest path, and at this point they're kind of stuck going down it, but they're just like, hey, I'm going down this path, but don't follow me down this path. The thing about this EP, it really feels like at times there's an awareness of Layne. He knows what's happening. He knows what's coming. But even though you know, and he sings about it, he puts it in his songs, he's like, you know, this is what I'm doing, it's ruining things for me, it's ruining my life, it's evil, it's toxic, but I can't stop doing it. It's terrible. Sometimes just because you know something is coming and you have an awareness of it doesn't mean you can't not do it. And it's scary, but you can warn others at least, I think. And maybe that's what's trying to happen on this track, is the band's trying to tell people to, you know, don't go to these places that, you know, sometimes you go to when you're making bad choices, because once you go down this path, you can't stop going down this path. And it's, you know, this song really has some really highs and some lows on it in terms of the singing and the emotion, and really fades out. It leaves on a haunting sort of, like the last outro of the song really sticks with you, lingers with you for a bit. I think it's probably, you know, maybe the second or the third best song on the track. But yeah, it's, I mean, like the rest of the album, it really stays with you and makes you feel like something's, you know, just like so much emotion, it can be overwhelming at times, but beautiful all the less, you know. For such a short, you know, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs on this, you know. I guess if it was 8, it'd be an album, but. And then last, Swing on This. I think Swing on This, I don't know, you might have a bit of, the song is a bit more upbeat. It is a bit of in a swing style, but it's sort of like a positive uptone, contrasting sort of darker lyrics about the band and its members, what they're going through. I really should have read the lyrics before. I don't know, it could be sweet. Swing on This is like, all other 6 songs are like really deep, dark, and moody, and they Swing on This though feels like a really positive, just like a fun. You can dance to this song, you can groove a bit, you know, you can enjoy it. I mean, you know, if you don't really listen to the lyrics, you know, like me, then it doesn't really matter too much. But you know, for wrapping it up, it's fine. Sometimes it's nice, you know, to go through this whole experience and then come out there with a little bit of positive at the end, you know, a little gleaming, even if it's, you know, a double entendre. It's not really positive. At least it feels positive. And you know, hey, if you can't dance even in the darkest moments, then, you know, what's the point at all, right? You know, it's in the darkness that I think we have to find the tiniest bits of light and joy to hold on to, because they mean way more than, you know, a candle in dark means more than a fire in the day, you know? So, something. Anyway, I think I'll wrap it up there. I cannot stress enough how great this album is. It's one of my favorite, this EP, album, whatever you call it. It's one of my favorite musical projects of all time. I listen to it all the time, on repeat. I wish I could listen to it forever, and I will. And I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. Jar of Flies by Alice in Chains. It's short, it's 7 tracks, 30-something minutes. Give it a try. Give Nutshell a try. Listen to Alice in Chains. Please, please, you are missing out if you aren't. So thank you, and that's all for today. I can't remember. I have more reviews on the channel, maybe a couple more, but I'm hoping to put more out and keep it short and sweet. I tried different lighting, different setup again today, so still just trying how to figure out how to do this well. And thanks.